And now, we talk about food. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Great uncle actually owns Pat's of Henderson, and I did that, go all through high school, and went to Crawford Town, and I felt the need that I wanted to pursue this the rest of my life. So I went to culinary school, and everything just kind of fell into place from there.
Where did you go to culinary school?
Louisiana Culinary Institute in Baton Rouge.
So did you go when Zach Doey's was there?
He's 2 classes behind me.
2 classes behind you. Okay, I think he's mentioned that before. Yeah. There's a lot of you guys that went to that school.
Yeah.
So how long have you been at Crawfish Town?
I've been there as the executive chef since 2011. So it's 5 years. In October, I've been running the kitchen.
So I remember first hearing your name at a Runaway Dish dinner last year, actually.
Yeah, last year, yes.
It was the one that Toby Rodriguez did with the chef from Tsunami. That was the first time you kind of got introduced. What was that like?
That was great. That was the first time I ever got to be introduced to a lot of these local chefs from here. I was always a chef in Henderson, but I never had a tie to Lafayette. So they kind of melted and put me into that scene, and it's been great since.
So we were talking about this before the show. How many pounds of crawfish does Crawfish Town go through every crawfish season?
Yeah, it's quite the large amount. We about 650,000 pounds to 700,000 pounds a year we buy.
Wow.
So most of that gets boiled. A lot of it gets grated, and we actually use it for our peeled crawfish. Because last year we actually got a license to do our own peeled crawfish.
And besides crawfish, you guys have other dishes there
Yeah, we have
as well.
steaks. We have tons of fish. We have like 5 fish that we come in, fresh all week long. Frog legs. But we do have hamburgers, po' boys, gumbo, etouffee. It's a full service restaurant.
Didn't you guys have special entrees when it's not in crawfish season that you guys were kind of showcasing?
We do specials. We try to do beer dinners. We're scheduling one for October, November of this year to do a beer and spirits dinner at work. So yeah, we just try to change things up and always have something new on the table.
You guys are right next to Cajun Palms.
Yeah.
And so the only time that I've eaten at the restaurant was when I was staying at Cajun Palms, and it was when they first opened. Mm-hmm. So I know that they've kind of ballooned into a much bigger establishment now. But I liked it in that people had their little go-karts, and you guys had a window that people could go, and that's what we did. We went and got our to-go order of Crawfish Town from that window. How much business do y'all get?
We do a bunch right now. And we actually we deliver food to them, and we go pick people up and have them come down with us also. So it's something pretty neat. We have a 14-passenger golf cart.
Wow.
So we can fit a bunch of people there.
Everybody on the Crawfish Town bus.
Have a party.
Nice. All right. So besides being the executive chef at Crawfish Town, you started Cochon Cannery.
Yes. My wife and I started Cochon Cannery last year.
Okay. And so it started with Bacon Jam.
I started with Bacon Jam. And live up to the name with Cochon Cannery. We wanted to make sure that everything we do, all our products have bacon in it. If not bacon, we have one of them. We have bacon-infused vodka that we put in some preserves. So we just try to change it up and do something very unique.
So how did the idea for that come about?
I did a special at Crawfish Town, some oysters that we would put a topping, and it was actually the same concept as with the Bacon Jam, but we used tasso. So I was like, well, tasso is good, but I said, man, this thing would be so much better with bacon. And then I changed up a couple ingredients, and I handed them out in Christmas of 2014 to my family. And they said, you should do something with it, and that's how we kind of got our start.
So one of the products that you make is a caramel.
Bacon salted caramel, yeah.
Which I love it in my coffee.
Yeah.
I don't know if you market it that way, but that's how it is in the Decou household.
Yeah,
it's in my coffee.
We do coffee, and I also I mean, obviously, you put it on top of ice cream. You could dip fruit in it, like kind of like a Nutella, because it has that consistency. But I like it on top of French toast in the morning. So, I mean, no syrup. Just put that on there, and you're good to go.
Yeah. Have you had it in the coffee?
I have had it in the coffee,
It's good in the coffee.
Yeah.
What are some uses for the bacon jam in case someone is not familiar with it and they kind of want to buy some, but they're not exactly sure what to do with it?
I sell it as like a condiment. So whatever you want to put, topping of something. My favorite way of using it is on top of burgers, but you can put it, mixed in grits, mixed in eggs. A spoonful out the jar, cream cheese at a party. I mean, whatever you want to do with it is just a condiment for whatever.
I was telling you before the show, I was super excited because I got some bread from Great Harvest, and I know they partner with you, and they put the bacon jam in one of their breads that they
did a king cake with it this past season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we sell our products there also. And I mean, really very supportive people. We're next to them every weekend at the farmer's market. So, our grilled cheese at the farmer's market is with the Great Harvest bread.
Right, and that's what I was so excited about. So I got some of the High Five fiber bread, and I wanted to make a bacon jam grilled cheese sandwich with it to dip in tomato soup. That sounds so wonderful to me. So it's happening at some point this week. The pictures will be all over Instagram so everyone can see them. But that was one of the ideas that I had. And just from talking to you now, I was thinking you could also take eggplant and top it with that too if you kind of want to be a little healthier.
Well, we do green beans. Like if you want to do green beans, to take a couple tablespoons of it and saute it down all together, and there's your seasoning, because you don't have to add anything else to it.
So do you have any other plans for other products in the future that are maybe in the development stage that you can kind of talk about right now? Well,
we do a seasonal fruit, and the next one up is going to be figs. And last year they did really well. We called them figs and pigs. And bacon. We actually candied the bacon before we put it in the fig preserve. And that, I mean, as much figs as we can get this year, we're doing it because last year it was very popular. So, things like that.
I think the last time I saw you at the farmer's market, your wife is there with you every Saturday, and your daughter was there as well, and she was eating out of the sample, and it was like all over her face, and it was so cute. Like she was just having a ball, and you kept being like, "Stop!"
Yeah, she loves the apple bacon butter. Yeah.
Oh, so there's an apple bacon butter.
Yeah, we do. Apple bacon butter is the one that's the standard all the time. So it's the spicy bacon jam, the regular bacon jam, apple bacon butter, and bacon salted caramel, and then we have a seasonal. Whatever's in season. Like right now, we just got our strawberries. The next one's going to be figs.
Nice. So can people get them other places besides the farmer's market every Saturday or Great Harvest?
East Kitchen in Lafayette.
East Kitchen also sells
and then we have we have a fresh market next to Crawfordstown.
Okay.
And we have it in there.
Are y'all available online as well?
Not yet. We're website pending.
Which is probably coming along with the incubator that's coming into town that we'll talk about in the next segment.
Yes.
But that's probably coming with that. So right now people can get more information on Facebook. You guys are on Instagram. Yeah. Do y'all have a website as well?
We do not. Not yet.
No website yet. It's coming.
That's coming.
In development.
Yes.
All right. We are going to take our first break, and when we come back, we have more with Dusty Lachele. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
She puts the wow, yum into words. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie herself on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou, and joining as guest co-host tonight is Dusty Lachele with Cochon Cannery. Am I saying that correctly?
Cochon
I feel like
Cannery.
I'm saying it wrong.
But a lot of people say Cochon, and it's surprising that
and
around
I kind of wanted to say that, and that's kind of how. And it's also like when Cochon Restaurant came to town, it was like Cochon or Cochon.
Yeah.
So I guess depending on where you're from,
Correct.
it could either way is acceptable.
And a lot of people they're like, "Hey, were you a part of the restaurant?" I was like, "No, not a part of the restaurant. We're separate.
We're a separate entity." All right, so I want to quickly mention that this is the last week of the Cajun Crate Kickstarter campaign.
Yes.
They came on the show a few weeks ago. It's a really cool idea. They're it's a monthly box service, and it's kind of bringing Louisiana to your door. Mm-hmm. So it's a bunch of different Louisiana products, and you can get it delivered. I think it's fantastic for people who are no longer living in Louisiana and are a little homesick for products. It's a great thing for them. Also, businesses using it to send it to other businesses. It's a really cool idea. For more information, you can go to Cajun Crate on Facebook. Their Kickstarter information is on there. You can give as low as $5. I believe if you give $10, it's a meal to Second Harvest in Baton Rouge. Yeah. And then there's also, you can start your monthly subscription now and get a box that way. Your product is actually one of the items that's available in the box. How did that come about, and how do you feel about this service?
I think it's amazing. It gets to grow people's businesses that are not only the Tony Sashery and Tabasco, like the larger scale people. It really gives you a step in the door for smaller companies. And what they're doing there, I mean, Tara, they approached us at the market because they liked our product, and then we started talking from there. It's a really awesome subscription. It's, for someone that, like you said, that may not live here anymore. I mean, it's a no-brainer to me. They should definitely be subscribing to that.
Right. It just, I don't know. I like the idea. I also like that she has the Paul's Piro mayo from the restaurant that closed in Carencro. I'm actually really good. She had mentioned that it was in there, and I was like, wait, is that from Paul's Piro in Carencro? She's like, I'm not sure. I was like, no, I think it is. And I'm actually good friends with the owner, with the former owners of it. And that mayo was great. Yeah. Have you had it before?
Yeah, we actually have it at our fresh market next door at Crawfordstown.
Okay, so that's what we were talking about during the break. There's a seafood market right next to Crawfordstown Town in Henderson. Yeah. And Crawfordstown owns it, or? Yeah,
it's entity of Crawfordstown. And, it's wherever you want to get your fresh seafood, your specialty meats. We have lots of beer, wine. We just expanded that wine and beer section to a lot of local Louisiana products. So, I mean, it's a one-stop shop, especially, like you said, with Cajun Palms being right there.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. That was very smart to do that with Cajun Palms being right there.
Yeah, and we use so much seafood at Crawfordstown that, it's another way. What we do is we order the seafood. It goes to the market. Stays there for a day or so, and then we bring it to the restaurant. So it's, it's always filtering fresh seafood through that place.
And it's always being used. It's always being used, yes. So that's really cool. So we were talking about the incubator a little bit in the last break. It's new. It hasn't quite started yet. You're kind of meeting with him to talk about it. Yeah. But one of the things that they're going to be having is a commercial kitchen space for products like yours that you can kind of operate of now. Where are y'all using Crawfordstown's kitchen right now? Is the commercial kitchen?
Yeah, technically we're actually under the cottage food law, so we can do it from home. But once our sales exceed that 20,000, which is
where the internet purchasing comes into play.
But so once we go there, we're going to need a space. And, with ours is a little different because we're dealing with meat. So we need an actual FDA approved kitchen. So I couldn't even do it at Crawfordstown legally. I have to get the FDA. So that's some things I'm going to talk to Zach about. I have a meeting with him tomorrow. And then obviously I'm very interested about the whole marketing and development of the website and everything that he can offer also.
It's going to be really cool, and I'm going to have to get him on the show to kind of talk a little bit more about it, because apparently we have nothing like it in the state.
Well, there's one place is at the LSU.
Yeah. He said it was close, but it's not exactly.
Correct. He's going to offer more than what LSU is offering. So that's why I'm really excited, because I use LSU right now to get my nutritional facts for the bacon jam. And, I have to ship it off or go over there and spend some time with them. And the drive to Baton Rouge is horrible, as you know. So, I mean, this is going to be like 20 minutes from my house. Right. A lot more convenient. And, you're dealing with people that you know and that you trust in this community.
What is the process like to get a product canned right now? Like, take us through that whole process.
Of whenever I do, like, actually start to finish the bacon jam?
Right. Like, before you could even start selling it, like, what all did you have to go through to be able to sell it?
Yeah, I mean, we had to, obviously, I didn't have an LLC, so we had to go and we had to do all the name and the applying for that. Once we got everything back from the state, I had to worry about insurance and starting a new business, not knowing what the sales are going to be like. I was guessing on everything. we got that established. So then we were actually legal to sell. And, from there, we just started looking at the cottage food law. Jeremy Connor's the one that actually told me what direction to go with that. And started reading and making sure that everything was, kosher as far as like, the process of doing it. And we jar in hot jars, and then we double boil, steam them also after. So that way, if we have a lid that breaks, it'll break in the water there.
Right.
We don't have to worry about sending any kind of, bad non-sealed products to anyone. So we're doing it the safest way we can. And for the scale that we do, I wish I had a huge, big old walk-in cooler type deal that you can put everything in and, kind of like steam them all at one time. But right now it's not feasible. So,
do you think that the concept of chefs that are now going and making their own products, like Jeremy Connor's doing it with the salt, you're doing it with the bacon jam and the Cochon Cannery, do you think that this is going to be a trend that continues with chefs further down the road, that they're not only cooking in a kitchen, but they're also starting a side business and profiting off of the sales of whatever the product is that they're selling?
I think so.
And making.
Because they even have, they have Torrey McPhail from Commander's Palace in New Orleans has his own dressings and his own, So I see other chefs in other markets, not just Lafayette, doing things like that. And
what do you think the appeal of that is?
Well, for myself, it's, working for myself.
Right.
That's what my appeal is, something that I've always wanted to do. And, I guess, you build your name and you have that reputation, and that name is something that could follow you, whatever product you put your name on. So what I enjoy about that, because it's me. It's Crawfish Town is me also, but there's a lot of moving parts there. This is me, so.
Do you think it's also the aspect of working in a kitchen? There's long hours. You're on your feet all the time. If you have a family, you don't necessarily get to see your family a whole lot, as a way to not be in the kitchen so much and to have a business of your own and make money, so you can kind of take some time off and spend some time with your family. Do you see it that way as well?
I'll definitely. I would love for this thing to blow up overnight and be selling around the United States. And that's the ultimate goal, is to grow to where that myself or my wife can coach on your job. Like, that's what you do. Definitely would be something that I would love to do in the future. So these baby steps and making sure the product's good, consistent, and we're growing pains right now. Especially with not even having the website and everything.
Right.
So things like that we're sacrificing now for in the long run, hopefully to be able to do this full time.
You were very supportive of your other chefs and the other restaurants in Acadiana. Anytime you have time off, I'm seeing on your Instagram, you're at a restaurant supporting them. What are some of your favorite restaurants in town?
Well, our go-to is Bread and Circus.
Yeah.
Actually, when we went there Friday night, tried to go.
Have you had the pizza since it's been in the oven?
They installed the oven while I was on vacation a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and we went, and it was an hour and a half wait, and so I put it right at close. So I told my wife, Denise, was like, "Look," I said, our next go-to is social. So we ended up going to social and had drinks at the bar and ate food there. So, you can't go wrong with those two.
I am so upset with myself. I dined out at a new restaurant in town, Zen Noodles, which was great. It was a good restaurant. But the person that I went with was asking me what my favorite restaurant in town was. And I was like, I'm really partial to social. It's just the atmosphere, the drinks, the food, everything is great. But I had picked this restaurant, and then they showed their specials for last night, and they had a mushroom pasta, and also they did like a charbroiled oysters with
Buddha and bacon.
Cracklings on top. And I was kicking myself so bad for not picking to go there last night. Yeah. But we have so many great restaurants in town. What do you think your biggest learning lesson has been since becoming a chef?
Definitely, I always knew that the hours and, this and that, but where we're at now at Crawfish Town, the flexibility and not having, you have good people around you, and, they'll take care of everything. You don't have to kill yourself in that kitchen, 7 hours a week. So it's always accompany good people and good cooks, and they'll have you back, and it comes out for everyone's better working environment.
So, I mean, I think working in a chef position, you kind of wear so many different hats. Mm-hmm. If you were not a chef, what do you think you would be doing?
I really don't know. I've never actually something with food, if not like sales or manufacturing or purchasing, something in food to deal with that. But there's definitely some. I guess sales would probably be my best. My most
something
favorite thing. Yeah.
All right, we are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have Ryan Fertel and Denny Colbert, and they're going to be talking the One True Barbecue. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPAL. Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou. Guest co-host tonight has been Dusty Lachelet with Crawfish Town, USA. And joining via phone is Ryan Fertel. He is the author of The One True Barbecue. And he also gets the honor of being our first James Beard Award nominee on the Food Junkie Show. So thank you for that, Ryan. And then joining us in studio is Denny Colbert, who has the coolest job ever. He gets to fly around the United States and take gorgeous photos of food for all these wonderful chefs that we have around the country. And he also took the pictures for the book. So thank you guys both for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me and us.
Hey, okay. So first thing first, how did you and Denny meet?
How did Denny and I meet? Denny, do you want to tell the story or should I tell the story?
You can tell it. You're going to.
So
he looks worried.
Maybe he should be. I did just write about this and post it up, so it's no longer a secret. But I met Denny several years ago. He had just started dating my very best friend from childhood, Katie Freyard, and she decided a meal at. Can I say restaurant names here?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. She decided a dinner over crawfish at Cajun Claws in Abbeville would be a good chance for us to meet. And so we all ate, as I remember it, 5 pounds of extra spicy crawfish. And Denny, you might want to tell your side of the story or tell me if I'm wrong. But Denny didn't eat crawfish. He had just moved to Louisiana, or I guess to Acadiana. And he didn't really grow up with seafood growing up in Ohio like he did. And so he got tremendously ill. I found out a week or two later from eating all this spicy crawfish. And I liked him so much more after finding out that he was eating this crawfish to impress his girlfriend, maybe to impress me. Like he was brave of him to eat this thing that he didn't like, but now I think he loves crawfish.
Yeah, I've definitely grown to love crawfish and all seafood. Growing up in northeastern Ohio, there wasn't a whole lot of, I'd never seen a crawfish before moving here. But yeah, that night was definitely memorable. Possibly slightly allergic to crawfish at that point.
Oh no! Wow.
But have since overcome.
Did you play it off though? At least that they didn't know that you were sick until later.
Right? Yeah. No one knew.
Well, that's good.
I managed.
All right, Ryan. So why did you want to write a book about barbecue?
Well, when I kind of discovered barbecue, when I went on the barbecue trail. It was in 2008, and I definitely didn't want to write a book about barbecue then. I didn't love barbecue. I didn't especially like barbecue. It wasn't my thing. I didn't have a passion for it. I grew up in Lafayette, and we don't have much of a barbecue culture. I remember sometimes chains would move in from Memphis, and they wouldn't last very long. But I was sent to Memphis in 2008, the summer of 2008, by the Southern Foodways Alliance. And if you don't know the Southern Foodways Alliance, or the SFA as we call it, you should. They're an organization headquartered at the University of Mississippi in Oxford, and we study, celebrate, document the diversity of Southern foodways. And in that summer of 2008, I begged them for a job. They couldn't give me a job, but they did place me on the road in West Tennessee to do oral histories, these long form interviews with barbecue people. So kind of the oldest restaurants and pit masters on that end of Tennessee. And so I spent the summer there and grew a newfound appreciation for barbecue. I ate it every day that summer. Sometimes I ate it 5 times a day. I came around to not liking barbecue again, I think, by the end of the summer.
Because you ate so much of it?
I ate so much of it, but I appreciated the people who put in the work, the restaurateurs who were second, third, and sometimes even fourth generation, I think. So it was that struck me as important and valuable work, or just something interesting to study. And that summer, I on the weekends, I would drive east of the city into the country, and it was in this little town called Lexington, Tennessee, where I met a man named Ricky Parker, and he was running a restaurant called Scott's Barbecue, and he was doing something different. He was doing whole hog barbecue, so he was cooking 150, 200-pound hogs. He would do 6, 12 at a time, especially on weekends. And he was a nut, and I immediately kind of fell for the guy because what he was doing was exceptional. He told me what he was doing was exceptional, and I never knew if he would be doing it the next day because he had a kind of a dangerous lifestyle, and he was also doing something very dangerous, cooking these massive animals, usually by himself.
So 2008 was kind of when the love affair started. Would you say that was when the research for the book started, or much further down the road? Like how long did it take you to compile all of the research for the book?
Really, since 2008. So I would go every year after that. I would go see Ricky. I liked his barbecue. I liked it a lot. And what was special about his place, and what is still special, now it's called Scott's Parker's Barbecue. It's still there in Lexington, Tennessee. I urge everyone to take the road trip and go. It's about an hour and a half east of Memphis. And what he would do with these whole hogs is the whole hog offers every part of the animal. So you could have shoulder if you like that. You could have ham. You could have the tenderloin. You could have the belly, the bacon. And he would kind of mix and match, or allow his customers to mix and match all these different parts to imagine like the best sandwich or the best plate of barbecue possible. So the food was special. And then he was special. He was he was a very driven person. He told me very early on that he wanted to cook 100 whole hogs.
Wow.
Over an Independence Day weekend. And that struck me as impossible.
Now I need to know if he did it.
Well, so the book he's kind of like the heart and soul of the book.
Okay, so we have to read the book to find out.
Yes.
That was a perfect reason to go out and buy the book. You did a wonderful job of selling the book right there.
Yeah.
I haven't finished reading the book. I got a copy of it and I started reading it, and I love how it started. I love how it was written. As a food lover and as someone who likes to read about food history, it kind of sucked me in. So I'm looking forward to reading the entire book. Where can people get your book if they want to get it?
Well, it's for sale at all major outlets. So the online retailers have it. Bookstores in the area, if they don't have it, they can order it. And then Denny and I are doing 2 events this weekend, this Father's Day weekend. Denny, do you want to say something about that?
Sure. The first is going to be at Kiki and River Ranch, where you can purchase the book there as well. But we're going to be doing a book signing on Saturday. What are the times for that, Ryan?
I believe 2 to 6.
Okay. Yeah. So, and Ryan will be doing a reading at 5 o'clock on Saturday as well. And then after that, we are going to start cooking a couple of pigs, which you will be able to come and check out on Sunday if you'd like. And that's through an organization that I run called Runaway Dish. So we'll be donating money to Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Acadiana, and slinging a little bit of barbecue and let you get a taste of whole hog.
And this is the first time you guys are cooking a hog together too, correct?
Correct.
You've cooked before, Denny. Ryan, have you cooked a whole hog before by yourself?
I have never been responsible for all.
Oh, so this is your virgin voyage into cooking a whole hog.
Ryan's very
and I'm
nervous.
anxious.
So a friend of mine, we were talking about the book and the upcoming event, and he's actually had one of Denny's pigs that he's cooked. And I want to say he gave like a 15-minute monologue love affair about the fibrous meat muscle of just how perfectly cooked the pig was. So people need to go and experience this on next Sunday. Yep.
Yeah. I mean,
That's a tall order.
Denny's such a humble guy.
Now I'm nervous.
Hey, people like it.
We spent a lot of time watching everybody else do it, all the guys who do it the best. So I feel like I've picked up some of their tricks along the road.
So where can people get tickets for the event? Because
you can go to runawaydish.org and you'll find them there, or on our Facebook page, the Runaway Dish Facebook page.
And I want to say it's about $17.
It's $17. Yes.
Yeah, $17. Are y'all gonna have a cutoff time for ticket sales, or are you gonna do them up to the day?
We'll do it up to the day of.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to this. So you guys had an adventure. Denny did the pictures for the book, and then you wrote about it. What were some highlights and what were some of the lowlights of the time that y'all spent together documenting this experience?
Yeah. Well, I guess a bit of background. So after 2008, I kind of would only go back to Tennessee once a year. Didn't explore too much else of barbecue country. But then in 2011, the Southern Foodways Alliance, which I mentioned before, put me on the road again. They wanted to send me to North Carolina. And I said I'd only do it if I could bring a friend along. And that was for two reasons. One, because the SFA was kind of upgrading its web capabilities. And I knew some pretty photographs would go well alongside the writing and the kind of the profiles of these barbecue places. And the second was I knew I'd be on the road for a month or more, and it gets really, really lonely. And so I asked Denny along for companionship, really, and it went great. My parents loaned us their brand new RV, which we christened the Barbecue Bus. And we spent most of November and December on the road in 2011. Then we went back the following summer and explored South Carolina's barbecue cultures. But highlights, lowlights. Denny, what was your highlight?
Living in an RV with you.
Obviously.
We got to see some amazing parts of the country. And just the people that we met, the pit masters and the people who work at the barbecue places. And the highlight, though, for me and the best piece of barbecue I'll probably ever eat was at 1 a.m. at Sweatman's Barbecue in Holly Hill, South Carolina. And the pit master knocked on the door of the RV to let us know that he was flipping the hogs. We walked into the pit house, watched two guys turn probably, 8 pigs. And that's actually on the cover of the book. But turn the pigs, and it's nice and smoky and dark in there. And then he brings out a pitcher of bright yellow mustard sauce to pour over the pigs, and then hands us each like the most perfectly cooked piece of barbecue ever, like pulled straight from the pig.
Wow.
That was definitely.
I agree. It's the best bite I've ever had too of barbecue. I remember him almost like feeding us it like mama bird to baby birds. It was like that kind of intimacy, I guess, going on. I think we were also just so sleepy. But the best part was spending time with these people who wanted to share their lives and their work. if it's not clear, the book is about whole hog barbecue, and it's a rare form of barbecue. It was disappearing when we were doing the research. There's just a handful of places, maybe a dozen places in the country, who do authentic whole hog cooked over wood coals, fresh wood coals. And so because they're cooking 150 pounds or more, this takes all night. It takes from dusk till dawn. And so it leaves a lot of time for sitting and staring into the fire with these guys who are working usually alone, sometimes in pairs. And so many of them were open to us joining them by the fire and kind of just staring into the fire and talking about what they did and talking about everything else. There was a lot of just they were very friendly. A lot of openness. So that was definitely the highlight. The low light was, I don't know. I mean, we got chased out of a barbecue place at one.
Whoa. They did not want to give their secrets away.
Well,
that was probably my fault.
It was Danny's fault.
I mean, it was they were cooking for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And they were cooking a lot of pigs, and it was a pretty intense day at the pit. So me showing up with a camera, I was probably like 10 minutes earlier than what I was supposed to be. And because of that, we were asked to leave and never come back.
Wow.
I think it was just a lot of tension for how many pigs they were actually cooking that day.
And on that note, we are going to take a break. And when we come back, we have more with Ryan and Denny. So come back to us. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPAL.
The best tasting radio show in all of South Louisiana. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPAL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPAL. I'm your host, Tiffiany Decou. Joining as guest co-host tonight has been Dusty Lachele with Crawfish Town, USA. And we've been talking with Ryan Fertel and Denny Colbert with the One True Barbecue. They are doing an event together for Father's Day. It's Sunday, right? The barbecue is happening Sunday.
It's on Sunday. They
are cooking a whole hog together for $17. You get a plate lunch style, and it goes to benefit Big Brothers Big Sisters of Acadiana, correct?
Correct.
And tickets can be purchased ahead of time at runawaydish.com.
runawaydish.org.
And you can also go to Facebook, and it'll link you to all of that fun stuff too. A huge topic that I've talked about a lot. Being from North Louisiana, we have a lot more roadside barbecue places up there. And here in Acadiana and in Lafayette especially, barbecue, besides plate lunch places on Sundays, seem to not do so well. We do have a few great barbecue places in town, but for some reason, it's kind of not a mainstream thing here. Ryan, you said you had some theories on that.
Yeah, I think there could be a couple reasons, and one, you're right. I mean, there's plenty of kind of long established barbecue restaurants, barbecue culture in North Louisiana. I mean, I think most people would say, kind of bring out the old adage about, South Louisiana is a different country. It's not part of Louisiana.
Right.
That the South is north.
I'm from North Arkansas, or South Arkansas, I should say.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's partly true, although I've always kind of had some beef with that argument. I don't know. I think every place, like maybe every place in the world, every culture, every people's has their own way of cooking something really, really slowly. So cooking something with a lot of time and with a little bit of heat. And for most of the South, that's barbecue. That's pig, pork barbecue. That's beef, goat, lamb in other places, chicken, of course. That's smoking and roasting meat over a slow fire. And in South Louisiana, we cook other things slowly, and we do it a lot. And, we have rice and gravy culture in Acadiana. We do all types of black pot stuff. There's gumbos. There's something else about like simmering those things slowly over a fire and originally they would have been over a fire. They wouldn't have been, in a kitchen. I think that kind of replaces cooking an animal, a whole animal or parts of an animal over a fire.
There's been the theory that I've also heard that, yeah, we don't do barbecue here, we do boucheries here, and that the boucherie kind of replaces the whole ritual behind barbecue. Do you have any thoughts on that, Denny?
I mean, I don't know if it necessarily replaces it. I mean, especially the boucheries that I've seen lately. I mean, part of the boucherie is barbecue. I mean, cooking the hams from the pig is barbecue. So I mean, it's there. It's just not.
And they have the cochon de lait too, where
right.
Yeah.
And, I mean, cochon de lait is barbecue.
Right.
It's just called something different here.
Right.
And there isn't necessarily. There just aren't a whole bunch of great little roadside places that do that. Instead, we have places that have boudin and crackling. It just wouldn't even be fair if Louisiana got another great food tradition. So
that's what we were talking about before the show. We already have so much great food here that we just don't have barbecue. I mean, we have other, great things. We just don't have that. Now, I was seeing in the book, with your experience with these barbecue places, they're typically closed on Sunday, right?
A lot of them are because they're located in the Bible Belt. It's not proper to be open on Sundays.
And see, here with the barbecue plate lunches, like they're only on Sunday. So that's like Sunday is a big barbecue day here. So that's a cool little interesting thing.
It's the same in New Orleans where I live now, where especially in the African American community, barbecue is a big Sunday food, and you see guys, men and women, kind of set up grills in the back of their truck for block parties or for second lines or for all types of events like that. And in certain neighborhoods, in a lot of neighborhoods around the city, there's grill smoke just kind of wafting everywhere. And it is a barbecue day. Sunday is barbecue day.
So you had mentioned that this type of barbecue was dying. Do you still think that how it's being cooked is still dying? Is there a new way that is coming about of cooking barbecue?
Well, when in 2008, when I first kind of discovered whole hog barbecue for myself, everyone was telling me that it was dying. Everyone said that in Henderson and Chester counties, which were hotbeds of whole hog barbecue just east of Memphis, that there used to be dozens of whole hog restaurants, and then they started to disappear in the 80s, and then most of them just kind of went away. Some had switched over to doing shoulders, so they no longer did the whole hog. It was purely for economic reasons. A lot of times whole hogs became difficult to buy. There's a lot of waste involved with whole hogs. A lot of places throw away the skin, the bones, the inedible bits. The
parts that we eat here. Yeah.
Right. That's what we sometimes eat here.
Right.
And other places switched to doing or cooking whole hogs over gas or electricity using these big cookers. And sometimes these places turn out really, really good barbecue, but for my book and for my kind of research purposes, I focused on the places that continued kind of stubbornly persisted in using fire. So it was disappearing, I think. And then, just by happenstance, as the two of us were doing this research in the Carolinas, we started hearing whispers from people that they wanted to open whole hog places. One reason is fire was becoming hot for chefs. There's plenty of kind of fire-centric restaurants throughout the country right now. There's at least 2 in New Orleans. They're everywhere. So these are places that kind of cook everything over fire or smoke a little part of every dish. It became a very trendy thing, and of course, a lot of chefs and restaurateurs wanted to go back to the very beginning, which is cook whole animals over fire. And so these places started popping up in whole hog restaurants. New whole hog restaurants started popping up in cities, where before they were only in the most rural agricultural-centric places. But whole hog it came to Nashville, it came to Oxford, Mississippi, came to Brooklyn, New York 2 years ago. And I was just in North Carolina on book tour, and I ate at 3 brand new whole hog places that had opened within the past 6 months, and each of them were located in more urbanized areas than whole hog places ever appeared in before.
Do you think that the food culture has kind of helped revitalize it with the popularity of food shows and all the chef shows, that are going on right now? Do you think that that's helped revitalize it? And the work that Southern Foodways is doing as well. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. So journalists, TV, all types of food media have a big hand in it. They have a big hand in making whole hog pitmasters famous. I mean, barbecue pitmasters are kind of riding a wave of popularity right now. There's plenty of television shows on several networks that focus on barbecue pitmasters. Aaron Franklin out of Austin, Texas, won a James Beard Award. He became the first kind of barbecue pitmaster chef cook to win one of those awards. There's a guy named Rodney Scott. He cooks in a little town called Hemingway, South Carolina, about 2 hours north of Charleston. Now, this town is a kind of a depressed old agricultural town. Population is 444 people. And a few years ago, he was featured on the front page of the New York Times' dining section. And after that, he became immensely popular. And so now he cooks all over the world. He just got back from Australia. I saw him, I cooked with him, did a dinner with him 2 weeks ago in Charleston. He had just gotten back from Australia. He's going back to Australia next month. He's cooked in South America. I've watched him cook in New York. I've watched him cook in Napa Valley in California. And so chefs and potential pitmasters kind of looked at him and what he was doing and what other people were doing and kind of wanted a piece of that. It's also a kind of a very I think it's attractive to a certain kind of chef. There's like a working with fire is popular, like I mentioned, but it's also kind of I think it appeals to the masculine nature of male chefs, working with fire, hefting around these big animals. There are no female whole hog pitmasters, which is interesting, but I think that day is coming soon.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much for joining us tonight, as well as you, Denny. I'm looking forward to tasting the pig next week.
Should be great. Thank you, Tiffany.
All right. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This has been Tiffiany Decou on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. And this has been the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening. And as always, happy eating, Acadiana.